Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVDA Analysis and Prediction. NVIDIA has an earning call this week, and this could be a good opportunity for you guys to make more money. In this video, I'm gonna share with you some interesting data that would help us predict how NVIDIA can move in next few days, and also if Nvidia can go up or down just after earnings. Now, let's get started. On your screen, you see this data table. I just created this data table for you guys, and this will give us some insight. This data table captures the earnings estimate, earnings actual, the gross margin, net or profit margin, percentage surprise, and also Nvidia price just before earnings and just after earnings next day closing. Okay, the reason why I'm using earnings and the margin for this analysis, because in the past we noticed that earnings and the margin were the main driver for Nvidia price movement after earnings. So how to read this data, let me go over with you. So wherever you see green, this means that the earnings surprise was positive, and wherever you see red, the earnings surprise was negative. And also, wherever you see red in here, this tells that after the earnings, the next day closing for Nvidia was negative. So Nvidia was negative after earnings on this quarter. Nvidia was negative after earnings in this quarter, and also this quarter, and interestingly, last quarter as well. But most quarters in the past, you see that Nvidia went up after earnings the next day. And if you take a look margin, you can notice that in most of the previous quarters, Nvidia's gross margin has been above 70%, with the exception of this quarter that was on 528. But last quarter is also above 70. And this quarter, the expectation is 73.30. I am positive that NVIDIA can meet this profit margin. And if you take a look, the earnings, the last quarter, the earnings came 1.05, and that was just 3.96% surprise, not a big jump. And in the previous quarter, if we ignore this quarter, that was negative earnings surprise, in the previous 5 quarters, the earnings surprise averaged about 10%. The last quarter was not very great in terms of the earning percentage. And you see that Nvidia went down in the last quarter, just after earnings. This quarter, the earnings estimate is 1.24, quite a big jump from the previous earnings actual. So that would be interesting if Nvidia can beat the earnings estimate of 1.24. In my opinion, I'm positive Nvidia can beat 1.24, but the earnings surprise may not be that high. In my opinion, would be less than 5%. So if that is the case, and based on the historical data and the trend, I think that Nvidia would go up just after earning if Nvidia closes below 195 before the earnings, right? But if Nvidia was already high before the earnings, let's suppose above 205, then it would be very difficult to say that Nvidia would go further high just after earnings. So Nvidia's price behavior just after earnings would depend how Nvidia would close before earnings. And if you take a look the forward PE at the Friday closing, Nvidia's forward PE is around 36.4. Not too high, not too low. Historically, in last 4 weeks before the last week, the average is about 36.4 as well. So Nvidia at this point is neither too high nor too low. So next few days, Nvidia, based on the forward P, can move in any direction. And if you take a look the cumulative percentage change, this also tells the same story. After the previous earnings, Nvidia's maximum upside is about 14.91%. Okay, and if you compare with the historical upside in the same quarter, the average is about 24.94%. So it's still below average. So that tells that Nvidia has some room to go further up in next few days before the earnings. And if you take a look the min-max level analysis for Nvidia that I shared with you multiple times in the past as well, you see that my minimum point was 132.9 and the maximum was 214. And I also told you that Nvidia should not be able to break 214 level. And in last few weeks, you saw that Nvidia was not able to break 214. And this analysis was purely based on the forward PE. Okay, I went over with you this calculation. In next day or two before the earnings, I'm gonna calculate another min-max level for Nvidia, and that would be valid for after earnings. I'm gonna make a separate video on that topic. And now let's take a look at Fibonacci levels to get an idea of different resistance and support level for next few days. At this point, Nvidia is trading around 191, and after that, the next level of resistance is 193.14, and after that is 200. This 200 resistance level, based on 23% retracement, in my opinion, is a very strong resistance level. So it would be interesting to see if Nvidia can be able to break 200 level before the earnings. On the downside, the next level of support is 187, and after that is 181. And this 180 or 181 is a very strong support level. Nvidia went down to around 180 sometime end of last week, and one more time you see Nvidia went down to about 180 sometimes early last week or 1 week before, but it was not able to sustain below that level. So that tells that Nvidia already made double bottom around 180. So that also makes this level a very strong support level. So if Nvidia goes down to 180 level one more time in next few days, probably that would be a good buy opportunity. And this was my analysis and prediction for Nvidia for next few days and also just after earnings. And also I'm gonna upload the Excel sheets to my Patreon account. So if you are an exclusive member, you can access those Excel sheets from there. And that's all for today. I hope you like the video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more in the next video. Take care.